Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you like the video, please feel free to share it. So here I am in the Musée des Beaux in Rouen, and looking at this beautiful painting by Albert Le Bourg, one of the French Impressionists. The overall value of this painting is a light grey, and the notan structure is quite interesting. The light grey is dominant, and then there are three other values. We've got the light of the snow on the left foreground and also on the roof of these industrial buildings. And then we have the dark boat. And there's one other dark spot, and that is this boat that's halfway across the river. Everything else is a lower value grey. And so basically the painting is divided into the light, the dark, and two types of greys. And it's a very simple notan structure. The other interesting thing is the use of this red area on the building, and he echoes that red in the sky and also a little bit on the bottom of this boat. And you'll also see a few pink spots in these distant buildings that are almost hidden by the atmosphere. And so by distributing the reds around the painting, he creates this movement of the eyes, always making sure, of course, that this is the most saturated spot and no other red spot in the painting comes anywhere close to this one. The other interesting thing he does here is he gradually transitions from one value to another in order to create a beautiful depth as you go back along the river and then to the distant hill and then to the sky. So very subtle value changes give it a beautiful mood. So just a really wonderful work by Albert Le Bourg. And, I've just come across these three paintings by Monet. They're little sketches and they're absolutely marvelous. So let's take a closer look at them. So this is my favorite one of the three. It's got beautiful expressive brushwork and it's so simple. It's basically a green and a blue and a little bit of a red violet. But what's really interesting is the way he's created various shapes. There's a green shape, there's green shape here, some blue shapes. Just about you can make out that there is a particular boundary to the shape. So he's divided the space into these color patches. But within those color patches, he's really got this very expressive brushwork, which creates a rhythm of patterning in this whole foreground area. The other thing that's really well done here is if you look at the horizon line across the top here, you can see the use of a lost and found edges. That basically is a very sharp edge here. Then he does a soft edge here, which he is doing by basically dragging the brush with very little paint on it over on top of the horizon. And it just leaves specks of paint which softens the edge. You can see some patches of red violet here, and then it's repeated over here. And not very much here, but there's a slight warming color here of the blue. So to me, it's just an absolute masterpiece. It's really beautiful, very expressive, very simple, just perfect. This is another beautiful one. And in this painting, he's really made the shapes much more clear. So you can see this red, cool red shape here is well defined. You can see a green shape also defined here, and another green shape further up. The light shape has a patterning in it, but again, it's very well defined. So a very simple composition, but very nicely designed spaces. It also has this expressive brushwork, which makes it quite interesting. You can see the brush marks here, calligraphy in the foreground, a little bit of calligraphy at the back, and then he fades it off, so it's a much lighter value in the background that gives you a good feeling of distance. So another beautiful little sketch by Monet here. Here's a painting by Alfred Sisley, born in Paris in 1839, died in 1899. This was painted around 1876, and it's a beautiful painting that illustrates the principle of organizational structures. Now, an organizational structure is some kind of armature or structure that holds the painting together. In this case, the structure is a steel yard. And a steel yard is a large shape on one side with a horizontal line, and then it's balanced by a mass on the other side, usually a smaller size. So here we've got a large size mass balanced by a smaller dart mass. And the axis of the balance scale is across the horizon. The structure of the painting is basically a 3-value notan structure, with most of the painting being this grey, a middle value, or light grey, with some dark accents and dark shapes that we can see here, here, and over here. And then we've got a light shape here for this building. So great example of a simple design organized around an organizational structure. And in this case, we call this a steel yard organizational structure. Alfred Sisley is the painter, and he was one of the Impressionists working with Monet. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're looking for a structured approach to learning how to paint, please check out my online university, the Virtual Art Academy.